Hey, what's up, everybody? WitherWords back here, taking you on adventure number 2 of our faithful, faithful WitherWords, walking around in the wonderful world of Lordran. Last time we ended right as I had just gotten the lightning spear miracle, and we're going to show that one off real early here, right off the bat. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. It is so powerful. Even if you are not a faith-based character, if you have the 20 faith to wield the lightning spear miracle, and you can join the Warriors of Sunlight, it can really give you a weapon in your arsenal early on to take out a lot of those really tough enemies without much danger to yourself. Now it's up to you. You know, if you want the challenge, by all means skip it. Or if you just don't have any faith, don't worry about it. You certainly don't need it. I never got it on my first couple playthroughs, and this was actually the first playthrough I used the lightning spear. I had just seen some other people use it, and I thought to myself, you know what? That looks like a lot of fun. So as you can see, we're killing some hollows here, just cleaning up the area. When we first entered, if you look down there, you notice that boar there, that big metal boar. When we first entered, to the left of that boar, or the boar's right, as you can see I failed there, and this nearly gets me killed. One of those dangers that I warned you about in the last video regarding the firebomb, I committed the error myself using the lightning spear. I'm going to be alright though. As you can see, the lightning spear is incredibly powerful against enemies who are metal. That regards all enemies that are metal, I believe. Knights, giant knights later on. I think anything that's metal is hurt by lightning. But anyways, when you first enter that room, to the right of the boar, or your left, depending on whichever way you want to look, there was another hollow. You probably didn't see him run away when we entered. Careful for that trap there when you first enter. There are a couple guys hiding. You probably didn't see him run away when we entered, but the hollow that's there will, once you get a certain ways in, run back and close a gate, barring your path further on. You can kill that hollow by either shooting him with a bow, and that'll trigger his aggro and he'll actually come at you rather than continue on, or you can just try to run in and kill him. That's a very dangerous move though, and I don't recommend that. If you're really interested in it, I would suggest grabbing a bow and arrow and just firing at him once. Careful not to hit the boar. You only want to hit him. If you hit the boar, well, good luck to you. But if you do kill him, you can, you see I got a little secret path here along the railings. If you do kill him, it'll open up a path that'll shorten the time it takes to get to the Undead Parish. But it's not necessary. We're talking like maybe cutting a minute or two off your time. Definitely not necessary by any means. And I didn't take it, as you can see. And we're almost to the spot that it would have placed you. So we're running up. We're actually a little bit above that room with the boar in it. If I had looked down, you would have seen the spot where he had been. But right now we're looking at the Balder Knights. The Balder Knights are not too tough. They're a little tougher than the Hollows. But the interesting thing about the Balder Knights is they drop some very good equipment, especially for early on. I don't believe I get any of that equipment here, because apparently my luck is really bad for this playthrough. But they do drop what some consider to be the best dexterity weapon in the game, and that's the Balder Side Sword. My first playthrough, I was lucky enough to get the Balder Side Sword, and I got to admit, it's very powerful. It can definitely do a lot of damage, especially when you have it upgraded. And I'm not going to get it here. You can see me fighting Mr. Balder there. But if you really want to, if you're really looking for a nice strong melee weapon, I recommend taking some time out, trying to get yourself to 10 humanity. I don't think I explained humanity. Humanity acts as sort of a booster when it's in the top left corner. Every time you pop humanity or kill a certain amount of mobs in an area when the boss of the area is still alive, you'll get humanity in the top left corner. That humanity will add to your defenses It'll also add to your resistances, and it'll also add to your item discovery. Now, your item discovery maxes out at 10 humanity, so there's no reason to go above 10 humanity, really. You'll find yourself with more than 10 humanity eventually, especially if you're not dying very much. But you don't need to try to go over 10 humanity. If you do, again, not a big deal. You're not hurting yourself by any means. You still get the bonuses, but your item discovery stops at 10. But the reason I say you should try to get 10 humanity is it can be a really frustrating farm trying to get the Baldur's Sword if you don't have 10 humanity. If you have 10 humanity, it shouldn't take very long. It should maybe take you 1, 2, 3 runs if you're really unlucky. But it shouldn't take very long at all. The Baldur's Sword itself only drops from a couple of the Baldur Knights. You'll notice some of the Baldur Knights are not actually using the Baldur's Sword. General rule of thumb, a mob can only drop the weapon or armor that it is using itself. Now that's a general rule of thumb. There are some exceptions to it. I think I might even break that exception here in a few minutes when I kill a certain knight, and he'll drop a weapon that you don't normally see him use. You see, we went over here to the Undead Parish side area. I don't know if there's an actual name for this. I think it used to be the old Undead Church, but I'm not sure what it's supposed to be now. There's a bonfire in there. If you're going to farm for Baldur's Sword, you absolutely want to get this bonfire as soon as you can. You can see, do a little more leveling up here. Just grab another point in strength, or no, endurance. Yeah, need a little endurance. I do want to use a little bit of armor later on, so I will get some endurance, but for now I don't have very much. At the bottom here, see, we're meeting Andre Vestor. This is your first blacksmith of the game. Blacksmiths are important early on. They become less important in terms of upgrading your weapon as you go, because this guy right here, Andre, will sell you the smith boxes for 2,000 souls. And we're going down here to fight what's called the Titanite demon. This demon's pretty tough. If you're not a ranged class, you might want to wait on this guy a bit. But I'm going down because, well, as you can see, I can cheese this fight pretty easily with using some creative blocking and the good old-fashioned lightning spear to the chest. You don't need to kill this guy right now by any means, though, and he is pretty tough. But anyways, back to the smith boxes. The smith boxes allow you, the player, to upgrade your own gear at a bonfire. Now, like I said, they cost 2,000 souls apiece. He also sells a repair box, which will allow you to repair your items at a bonfire, which can be very useful later on as you get more powerful weapons that maybe are a bit weaker in terms of their resilience. And rather than having to run all the way back to a smith, you can just go ahead and repair at a bonfire. As you see, I bought the weaponsmith box. That's the only one you really need early on. You can wait for the repair box. And honestly, the armor smithing box, you can go through the whole game without it. It's not necessary to upgrade your armor. It's one of those things, I would not say to upgrade your armor unless you just have nothing else to upgrade. If you're bored and you have a bunch of shards and you just want to upgrade something, okay, fine, go for your armor. But there's really no need to. As you can see, our hollow friends respawned here, so we're going to go ahead and take them out. And pretty soon here, we're going to go back into an area with the Baldur Knights. And if you recall, when we first walked into the area, we went down and we opened up that gate. That gate that we opened up earlier was the gate that I was talking about, the hollow running and closing. So you can see we really only saved ourselves a minute or two. We just lightning speared the Black Knight in the chest. If you're not using the lightning spear, make no mistake, that guy is not easy. He's one tough cookie, and if you're not using the lightning spear, you need to take him slowly, watch his attacks, and I don't believe he can be parried either. I may be wrong on that. If I'm wrong on that, someone wants to correct me by all means, but I don't believe he can be parried, so you want to be very careful. You noticed up top there was a channeler firing down at me. It's shooting his little soul arrows. and I'm blocking him by using the pillars to line of sight. The reason I'm using the pillars to line of sight is because these Balder Knights, they want to come out and ruin my party a lot. I've died more than once to these guys just saying, hey, look at him, let's go kill him, all the while I'm fighting other enemies in here. So I want to take out these guys first. And you can see this guy's holding a rapier in his hand. Like I said before, not all Balder Knights drop the Balder sword. That guy would not drop the Balder sword because he is using a rapier. See, this guy's still shooting down soul arrows at us. So we're going to go ahead and put an end to that. I recommend killing that guy from a distance if possible. That's not always going to be possible. Sometimes you just won't have the ability to kill him. If you don't, that's not a big deal. He's not that tough, but all channelers in the game have the ability to buff enemies around them. This can be really bad, especially in certain areas later on. See, I'm getting pretty tired of this guy. He's sitting here trying to fish for a parry, so we're just going to go ahead and blow him up with a firebomb. Later on, the channelers can get really, really annoying because they'll buff enemies that are already pretty strong. And when an enemy is buffed, I'm not sure exactly what the damage coefficient is, but I would say they do at the very least 2 times the damage they did before, and it may be 3 times. I'm not sure about that, but it is a lot of damage. If I had come up here with just a melee weapon and tried to fight these guys, and he had buffed them, I would have to be extremely careful, because even these really weak hollows could kill me in a couple hits. So you need to keep that in mind if you're going to leave that channeler alive. If you can kill him from a distance, do it. Definitely do it. We're going to run over here and grab Soul of a Lost Undead, or Large Soul of a Nameless Soldier. Eventually you'll get used to the names of the souls. They tier up. On a New Game Plus, for instance, you probably won't even bother picking up a lot of these early souls because they're just not worth it. But there are some souls later on that'll be like Soul of a Proud Knight, or Soul of a Hero, and those will give you a lot of souls, and you're definitely going to want those. And if it's your first playthrough, I recommend picking up really any item you see, because you never know what you want to use. Sometimes you might come across a weapon or armor, and you say, you know what, that's really cool, and you want to go for it. Now we're running through here. This is not really a secret area, I guess. I mean, it's not that hard to see, but it's kind of hidden. You can miss it. This is Knight Lautrec. I'm not going to talk too much about him, because he'll come into play later. But for now, you can open him up and save him. And when we return to Firelink Shrine, he'll be there and give us a Sunlight Medal. Sunlight Medals, like we said before, are the way you advance in the Covenant Warriors of Sunlight by giving these Sunlight Medals. And I want to collect as many as I can. And since I'm playing offline, I'm not even sure if I can collect enough, but we're going to give it a shot. Because once we hit 10 Sunlight Medals, we can upgrade to the next tier of the Covenant and get a stronger version of the Lightning Spear, if you can believe that. So I'm not sure if I can get it, though. We'll have to see. Alright, we're going up the stairs here, and first thing we're going to notice when we get to the top is the first summon sign of the game. Now this summon sign may not be your first if you're playing online. You may have seen human summon signs already, but this is the first NPC summon. This is Knight Solaire. We're going to summon him here. Now, keep in mind, when you summon an NPC, the boss that you're going to fight gains, I believe, double health. I mean, you know what? No, it's probably not double. I think it's probably less than that. But they get more health. Keep that in mind when you're summoning a guy. If you're having trouble with the boss, it may not necessarily help you to summon the NPC that's there. That's just up to you. If your trouble is you just can't do enough damage in time, try to go without the summon. If your trouble is, you know, I just can't seem to get hits in, then maybe the summon will help you. But just keep in mind, you're not necessarily making it a lot easier by getting the summon. Certain fights you are, and I think in the next video, I'll be showing a fight where it just becomes stupid easy to do a boss with it. But this fight here, Solaire can be very helpful for this fight. So by all means, if you want to summon him, summon him. You see he's got the golden color there. The golden color is the color of any phantom who is a member of the Warriors of Sunlight. You see he's using the Lightning Spear as well. As we said, he's probably the leader of the Covenant. Halfway through the fight, when that gargoyle hits half health, the second gargoyle will come down. A lot of new players end up dying to that gargoyle because they are in the middle of the arena and they don't know that there's another one coming down. So once you get that first gargoyle down to about half health, keep an eye out. The second one will come down. As you see, I killed him so fast that it really didn't matter. The lightning spear is just wow. It's really hard to believe that more people don't go for it. But as I was talking about the phantoms, golden phantoms are members of the Warriors of Sunlight. If you summon them, and that doesn't matter if it's human or NPC, if you summon them and it's a human, when you beat the boss, you'll get what's called the Sunlight Medal, as you saw me get earlier. The Sunlight Medals, like I said, are your advancement in the Covenant, and the best way to get them is to simply do co-op a lot. So people call them the Sun Bros for that very reason, because they're always engaging in jolly co-op. We're ringing the first bell here. Now, I haven't really talked about the story yet. I'm trying not to, because I want you, if you're a new player, to go through and check the story out for yourself. But understand that the bell is part of the story itself. We need to ring it. We have to ring it. You don't have to ring that one first. If you're an advanced player, you might not. But we do need to ring that bell eventually. But I'm not going to talk about it because you should enjoy the game for yourself. Down here we have, I think his name's Oswald. He's a vendor who sells curse-breaking items. He also sells this really nice miracle called Karmic Justice, but we can't afford it. It's 40,000 souls, and that's just a little too much for us right now. He sells some rings. Blood Bite Ring resists bleeding. Poison Bite Ring resists poison. I know it's hard to believe, but I don't recommend buying either of them. And we're going to do a little bit of magic speed up here. I don't recommend buying either of them, honestly. Bleeding is not that big of a threat unless you're really having trouble blocking, learning how to block. And poison really only affects you in a couple areas. My suggestion would just be to ignore it. And that's up to you. If you really want to spend the 15,000 souls, you're more than welcome to. As you see, I bought the repair box and the smith box there at the very end. And now I'm going to show you a little bit about upgrading weapons. Weapons are upgraded with shards. Base weapons are upgraded with Titanite shards. Andre here sells Titanite shards. They're expensive, 800 per shard. And if you're short on souls, you don't have to buy from him. The hollows in this area drop them. Rarely, but they do drop them. And if you're really hard up on souls, you can just keep going to the bonfire, reviving them all, and then going back out and killing them. You'll get some Titanite shards. That's up to you, though. You really, at this point in the game, we don't even really need to upgrade our weapon yet. It's not necessary. We're doing pretty good so far. And with the lightning spear, there aren't really any enemies that we're going to have trouble with yet. Later on, we might need to upgrade it a bit, but we're not there yet. So as you see, we're running back out. I'm not speeding this part up because I'm going to show you guys a shortcut. Now, this isn't a hidden shortcut by any means. You're expected to find this, I believe, but surprisingly enough, a lot of people don't. And they get really frustrated when they try to figure out how to get back to Firelink Shrine. They can't figure out why they have to run all the way back. Well, you don't, folks. Just watch here, and I'll show you how to get back to Firelink Shrine real quick. I'm just killing these guys real quick so that they don't come up behind me. You can actually, once you have the shortcut open, you can run right by them. You don't have to actually kill them if you don't want. You can just run straight through. You see this door right here in front of us that's open? We're going to go ahead and jump in here, and this is an elevator. Once activated, this elevator is good for the rest of the game. Never goes out of business, and it takes us right down to Firelink Shrine. But I really want you to watch my character here, because we're going to do something. Alright, you notice how I rolled off there a little early. This is right above the area where at the beginning of the game, we dropped down and got some hidden chests. That was the elevator area. The top of that elevator area is another secret path. And I almost died there. That was really close. If you're interested in returning to the Undead Asylum, and I recommend you do, You see we just got the Undead Asylum key. This is going to open a certain door that we bypassed last time we were there. And we'll show that when we get there. But I recommend you go back to the Undead Asylum. And to do that, you really need to go up, get that key, and, well, you have to go up there if you want to go back, because you have to take the ride on the crow. But you should get the key, too. You see down here we have Lautrec. We're going to talk to him, get our free sunlight medal. That's our reward for saving him. I believe he shows up no matter what, if you save him or not. Here we're going to reinforce the Estus Flask. The Firekeeper soul that we picked up in the Undead Parish. First things first, don't use that soul. Don't use any of the Firekeeper souls in your first playthrough. You want to save them and take them to the Firekeepers themselves, because when you do, if you give it to them, I'll take a second here. I walked in this room, and at the bottom you see little words. There's actually snoring going on, and that's the snoring of a major NPC who we will meet later. But unfortunately, I didn't have sound for this, so you couldn't hear it. But the Firekeeper flasks, you don't want to use them from your inventory. You want to hold on to them. And you see I'm going to jump on top of this secret path again. And the reason you want to hold on to them is if you take them to a Firekeeper and give them the Firekeeper soul, they will reinforce your Estus Flask. This does not give you more swigs of the Estus Flask. This makes every swig of your Estus Flask heal you for more. I don't know what the exact numbers are on it. All I know is that it's definitely worth doing, and if you're a new player, I strongly recommend you do it, because you're probably putting points into Vitality. And if you're putting points into Vitality, you're going to notice that your Estus Flask really isn't healing you for all that much anymore. But if you upgrade, you can start getting some more healing going in there. Alright, we're coming to the end of this video here, and we're going to the Undead Asylum. We're going to land there, and we're probably going to stop for today, because the Undead Asylum itself will take us a little bit. The Undead Asylum is going to be really the first area for new players you probably don't know anything about. And that's the one you really want to tune into and make sure you get all the little goodies that are there. And I actually recommend you go there no matter what, even if you're not a new player. So sit tight, folks.